Fabulous.
Somebody did a mix.
Awesome. Cool.
That's crazy enough. What's up, everybody? Welcome to WFSO Aftermath. What are you doing?
I was looking at a thing about that said there's a company called Cricket that does these vinyl cutting machines,
Uh,
and you have to register it, and you can hook it up to the internet to download different images that can be cut. It's the ones that do the vinyl, like I put the decals in the memory packs and
Right.
stuff. And I've just found out that Cricket can disable your machine. So there's a lot of people who are saying that their machines have stopped working all of a sudden and going out and upgrading and buying new machines. And it turns out that Cricket's disabling those machines, forcing people to go and buy them.
wow.
So people are really like pissed off now, saying that there needs to be like a way that Cricket should be able to do that. Cricket should put you in a position, if you're happy with your machine, disabling it so it doesn't work, so you have to be going upgrade. So that's what I was watching. And then it went on to oil changes.
That's crazy. I guess when you think of Cricket, you think of Cricket Wireless or something.
Well, it's actually Cricut or something like that.
Oh,
It's spelled CIRCUT. Circuit.
oh,
Something
okay.
like that. And it's the vinyl machines. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah.
Some of these things they can take away from it. Again, the biggest to me is their offensive line did a great job today without blocking.
Oh, they had it at Michael's.
Yeah, they sell them at Michael's and Joann's. You can get them on Amazon and Walmart and all those places.
Right.
And the dollar store now actually sells vinyl, which is really good because there's a lot of people who only, and this is the thing with the stuff at dollar store, it's like about the size of 2 pieces of paper. So it's only small pieces. But if you wanted, say you're doing a project that only calls for a small amount of, say, silver, you don't want to spend $20 on a roll if you can get it for about $25.
Gotcha.
I know it's not that interesting, but it is to me because I grew up. And I knew there was a reason I didn't like that stuff. All the tacos.
But since we're on air, and I know y'all probably wasn't interested in that, but who cares? We're gonna talk about it anyway. But with that Teddy Hart situation that we watched
Oh
earlier
my God! So turn the volume off on the TV so it's not overpowering everything. So if you get the chance to watch the program on Peacock, they've got it uncut.
Yes, called Dangerous Breed.
And it basically features Teddy Hart, who is, his actual name is Edward Annis. Yeah, sounds like anus. Edward Annis. I actually went to a school with a girl whose name was Marcus Annis. So, but anywho, and he is actually the nephew of Bret Hart.
Yep.
And he is like really very, very much a narcissistic asshole, basically. He thinks the whole world revolves around him. When things don't go his way, it's everybody else's fault. It's not his fault. And a lot of things came to light, including the fact that he was physically and sexually abusive to the women in his life, and beat them, raped them, and actually has a video of him saying, well, a little rape is okay with your partner.
Oh, yeah.
And no rape is okay, period, with your partner, regardless. And so it was really interesting to watch, and it got to the point where there was a girl he was with, her name was Samantha, she was from Canada, came to the US and Mexico with him, and he took her passport and left her stranded, and she disappeared. She hasn't been seen for like 6 years. And the police in Florida wouldn't take it seriously and do a missing persons report. And it's taken a lot. And we're hoping now with this series that came out, it's only a 2-part series.
3.
Was it 3? It
Yeah.
felt like it was only 2.
Yeah, it's 3
Anywho,
episodes.
Okay, it's a 3-part series. With that coming out, they're now hoping that, it'll increase as to what went on with her. More people will come forward. Now, he said a lot of things that kind of made you go, huh? Because he said at one point he was going off on this rant. And the rant that he went off is what happens a lot of time when people with narcissistic personalities get like pegged into a corner and they start yelling and screaming and they let out information that turns out to be the truth in a lot of things.
And only the person that did it.
You're doing video.
And only the person that done it will know.
And one of them was he said that she jumped out the car, she ran in traffic, got hit and rolled down a bank, and she would never be found again. Now, he was too specific in what he said about that. He said that she got out the car, ran screaming along the road, got hit by a truck, rolled down an embankment, and would never be found again. Now, the thing in regards to that statement is there was too many specifics in what he said. Anybody, somebody might have say, if you genuinely don't know where somebody is, it's like, well, maybe she got picked up hitchhiking, or maybe she had an accident. But to be so specific as she jumped out of a moving car, went running along a freeway, got hit by a truck, and rolled down an embankment, that's so fucking specific, really specific. And I think that the police in Florida need to look into that a lot more, because he was saying, I never took her passport. I never took anybody's passports. But everybody who was from Canada who came here with him all said, he took my passport, he took my passport, he took my passport. And then, you had all these women. He said, I never hurt a woman. But then all these women who had no relation to each other came forward and said, he choked me out. I would wake up and he had raped me and he was raping me and all this stuff. And they caught him on video saying, if these cameras weren't here, I would do this, this, and this to you, to that one girl. And so he's actually a very scary person. And they said he was released from jail on bond. And I looked online and I couldn't see it, which doesn't mean it's not true. They probably have more information, more contacts than what's been released. So he probably is out on bond.
Right.
But that's what's really scary, is that these women fall for it. And I think a lot of the women who are falling for it are falling for the Hart name, not him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They want to get into the business. They want to be part of this amazing wrestling family, which, let's be honest, when you hear the name the Hart family, you do think of greatness. You think of the Hart Foundation, all of those people. You think of British Bulldog. I know he married into the family, but that's still, part of the family and stuff. And so if you're, wanting to break into the wrestling business and the nephew of Bret Hart says, I can help you do that, you start to fall for perhaps his lies, where if it was any other business and somebody came forward and said certain things, should be like, you lost it. You know what I mean? So it was very, to me, he's a very scary man and should not be trusted.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to ask you is about, because you didn't see this part, but I did. It seems like he had some steroid use, earlier.
Oh yeah, you could tell that.
Yeah. I was like, okay, maybe this guy worked hard and probably don't know much about steroids, but yep.
And the thing, what it is that steroids, as people know, if you look into the steroid abuse in wrestling and in any sport, steroids actually alters your chemical balance after a while in your brain. Now, steroids are used for illnesses to help cure illnesses.
Right.
Mike had them when he had his back problem.
Right.
But, that's a short-term use. That's what they're only supposed to be there for. But if you're injecting high doses and everything, it's like anything else. You get roid rage.
Right.
That is such a big thing. We know somebody who did a lot of shitty-ass things while on steroids. And, it's not a good thing. It really isn't. And it will mess up your brain chemicals and all of that lot. But his attitude was that, and you could tell just from everything he said was, I'm part of the Hart family, so you don't need, there's nothing you can teach me.
Right, and that's what.
Didn't you say that's what WWE was part of the problem he had with them?
Yeah, when they signed him, he was like the youngest signee that they ever had at 18 years old. Then,
And they screwed it up for the sounds of things.
yep, weeks later, and yeah, that was sad. Like you were thinking that you be in WWE, like you get your like act together and like listen to the pros that actually done it.
Right.
Because that's you thinking that they should have done, but some people just want to be arrogant. So that was one of his issues, that he was arrogant.
Yeah. Well, and you can see that there was arrogance, there was the narcissistic attitude. There were so many things about him that, kind of were warning signs. But he also had, he sweet talked people. He knew what to say to them to make people feel at ease and get them on his side and do things for him. And then boom.
Right, especially not only like he, used women and stuff, but he used some of his friends too.
He used everybody. That's what a narcissist does. They use everybody around them. And I wondered what you said when you met him and some of his other family members and friends and stuff when they were all working together.
Oh yeah, it was June of 2019 when
Yeah.
I met him.
When they were all working together and everything, there's a part of me that thought, did the family all get together and say, look, we got to keep him kind of on the straight and narrow as best we can. Let's get, you guys work with him.
Right.
You guys take him to shows and everything. Let's try and keep him on track because, their reputation is at hand.
Exactly.
And you don't, and sadly right now, it's going to be tied to it, but you don't ever want, just for argument's sake, like the Hart Foundation and the nephew is a rapist. The nephew is involved in the disappearance of this person. You want your reputation to maintain. You don't want that blackness to come through. And you see that happen so many times. Like, there's a few wrestlers whose, for example, Macho Man and Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah, with their...
Absolutely phenomenal. Like, as a wrestler and a manager, she opened the door for so many female managers to come out there and do their thing and all that lot. But it's tarnished by his jealousy and the drug use and her death and all of that lot. Mike, you want to join us with an input? But as you know that, you get that tarnishment that's associated with it. Hulk Hogan, phenomenal wrestler, made wrestling, I think he helped make wrestling what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
With the whole bit larger than life scene, but part of it's tarnished because of what him and his wife did when Nick had the accident.
Oh yeah, when they
covered up a lot of things and tried to pin the blame on his friend when he threw around the N-word.
Oh God, I forgot about
the
that.
affair he had with
his
friend's wife.
Yeah.
So there's all those things, and let's be honest. You don't want that.
That is true.
And I think the Hart Foundation probably was thinking, okay, let's get him together with some of his cousins and, all that lot, get him out on the road, keep him under control. You keep him under control till all this is sorted. But you can't with a narcissist because they have to be in control.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing because it's like, I know he was signed with this is MLW, Major League Wrestling. It was a good company, but they only came like around this area only one time. Although they're touring a lot.
You say it's Major League Wrestling?
Yeah. Yeah, and I know Brian Pillman Jr. is with AEW. I know that, and Dave Boy Smith was recently released by WWE because they didn't use him. This was before Vince McMahon was gone, but So I know he's doing independently, but yeah, and I'm thinking they made probably like decent amount of money, and I don't know why like he ended up being no mooching off of women and ended up being broke or whatever. Yeah, that's what like troubles me. Like, how you doing good with all this money and
But the thing is, buying steroids illegally is a lot of money.
oh yeah, that's true.
And he probably had to pay his way into a lot of other things because he did have those cats. And from what
Right.
I read, that he was really a phenomenal breeder and a phenomenal trainer of his cats. It's like you should have stuck to what you know, my man.
Right.
Because you see so many commercials with cats and so many movies involving cats and everything. And he could have probably had a really freaking amazing career doing that sort of thing. I just put up Teddy Hart details getting released from MLW, texting with Young Bucks about CM Punk awful. Okay, hold on, let's see. Hart is hopeful that an MLW return could happen. It was 2019 that Teddy Hart wrestled his last match for MLW.
Oh, it
He dropped the
was.
organization's championship to Myron Reed in March 2020.
Oh wow.
Said that Hart was not too pleased about dropping the championship. He responded to that during his appearance on Great North Wrestling podcast on Hannibal TV. He said he did what he was asked to, but prior to the match, he'd been told he was not going to be used for the foreseeable future due to allegations surrounding his name. He went on to request his release, but claims the initial request was not granted. He was then informed that the venue that MLW was planning on using a pyrotechnic, which was not allowed. He then said that lit a fire under MLW that led to him being released. Despite the way his time at MLW came to an end, Hart is hopeful that the organization will see that he's cleaned up his life. Hart added that his lawyer is good friends with Court Bauer and works with AEW President Tony Khan on occasion, along with other wrestlers. The feedback that Hart has gotten is that he's not been tested yet to see if he can be reliable.
Mm.
Elsewhere during conversations, he was asked his thoughts about CM Punk's post AEW All Out media scrum. Hart said he wishes he could show the messages he and the Young Bucks had about that situation. The Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, nor CM Punk have mentioned on AEW since that reported physical altercation involving them. When was this done? I'm trying to see when this. It's got
Oh
to be recent because of them mentioning the CM Punk
yeah.
thing. October of this year.
Okay, so 2 months ago. So
Yeah, literally almost 2 months ago.
yeah, so yeah, it was recent. But it just, amazed me with this guy with good talent, kind of like ruining his career with all these allegations that's out there on him.
And you could get past it if it was just one. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I'm not saying that one woman would lie about that. 99.9% of women are not going to lie about that. But you could get past his career could probably come back from one allegation because we've seen so many careers bounce back from those sorts of allegations.
Right.
But when it's one woman after another woman after another woman after another, and it's like ongoing and ongoing, and you catch some of it on video,
Right.
and he's going, turn the camera off, turn the camera off. You're not recording this, turn the camera off. I'm glad the guy kept the camera running.
Mm-hmm. Because he probably would have witnessed it and had to interfere if something did happen.
Yep.
Well, yeah, like just like I said, this guy had like a lot of good talent. It just like wow, I messed it up. And like you said with the steroid use and it was one thing they mentioned on part one that he was doing moves that more than he was doing certain moves like the moonsault from the top rope, then did it from higher up or something like that. and he kept doing it so much he ended up throwing up during the match. So yeah, he's like one of those guys that like we mentioned, that he was arrogant and think he know better. And you saw at his first place on part one, like when he had his so-called wrestling school, like the ropes weren't even like tight enough.
Yeah. And see, we've seen that before with
Yeah,
a couple of other
couple other events.
beds
Yeah,
where they don't do the ropes tight enough. Mike was at wrestling at a show where a Fed didn't have the things tight enough, and what
Right.
happened? The ropes pinged off, and when they were running against the ropes, they were pretty much laying flat, if you remember.
right.
So I don't think people realize there's so much danger involved in it because of people not doing their job right.
Exactly. Or they just had like a bad ring and they had no choice but to use it. But
It's just crazy.
yeah, just insane. But it is a good documentary.
It was really, really good and really interesting. And as I say, I really hope that it brings up some leads for the family to find out where she is.
Right. Because this show, like the family is still,
Looking for her.
right.
And I'm glad that, as much as I'm sad that she's disappeared and the family can't find her, but I'm glad that reporter had so much footage of the family, of her, for the family to show her daughters.
Right. That, she wasn't this
She
crazy
didn't
person
just leave
as,
them. Yeah.
right,
That
as he
she,
claimed.
yeah, that she looked at the ocean and she was so excited about seeing the ocean and seeing her being happy and laughing and showing her with the girls before she disappeared and all that lot.
Right.
And I think it's important that those girls know that, their mom loved them and she was doing this to try and make their life better. And she was screwed over by this guy. Because even if he didn't have first hand in her disappearance, to me, he was a leading cause of why she went missing. If you steal someone's passport, not everybody knows what you had to do when those things happen.
Right.
Tell me this: would you know what to do? Say your passport was stolen?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, just.
I only know because I know for a reason that I'm not going to share on there. I will tell you later.
Okay. That's fine, but just the point is, it's like, yeah, like surprised that she didn't get into that much trouble because she didn't have her passport, but she, did some like side jobs, get paid under the table and stuff like
Right.
that. But she had to do what she had to do to survive and try to find her way home.
Yeah. And to me, there's no shame in that. Absolutely no shame.
Right.
And people, hopefully, I don't think people will because they can see that she is a victim. I'm just hoping that people don't say, well, she should have done this and she should have done that. No, when you're under the control of a narcissist, it starts off as him treating you like a princess and like you're the best thing since sliced bread, and then boom.
Then, lying to her about,
Yeah.
this is going to happen. Then try to portray himself like, okay, this is my girlfriend, but.
But then, no, she was never my girlfriend.
Right.
They were saying on camera, oh, she was like I've never felt this way about anybody before. And then I never said that. And it's like, some fucking videotape,
the guy called him out on that too.
Yeah. And then that guy who ran that podcast called him out on it as well.
Yeah, that was funny. But it looks like he had like another victim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just unbelievable.
It's sad, is what it is. It's really sad. Because there are so many people who have been hurt because of him. Like that one woman, that blonde-haired woman with the cats and everything.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My heart broke for her because she looks so broken.
Yeah, although, like they gathered around like some people that he was like, a couple of women that he was, where he did things to.
Intimate with.
Yeah, intimate with and stuff too. Like, at least they got to tell more of
They
the
got.
story.
I like that they got to tell their story.
Mhm.
It wasn't just his thing. It was they got to tell their story. And as much as it's probably hard for him, it is actually healing to be able to say, "This is my story.
Right.
This is what happened to me." Because you need that, you need to be able to say that and have people listen and believe you. And you don't need 1,000 people believing you. You need just one person
Right.
to say, "Do you know what? I believe you. I understand."
Right. Like I say, it's a good documentary. Some people already checked it out, but I guess they mentioned that some people already knew how he was anyways, like the same as you saw the documentary, you should know like how he is from I guess from meeting him or whatever. But I never got that attention, and like
But then your meeting with him wasn't a sit down,
right,
have a chat with him, which I'm sure if it had been, you might have seen those things. For you, it was just like, "Hi, move on" type of deal.
hi, like how you doing? There,
Yeah.
get the
Oh no,
photo, and
move on.
right,
And that's for him would be the best thing. That stroked his ego big time. Oh, people want to get my photo and all this lot. So
and plus they did autograph the photo that I got from them too. But yeah, it kind of shows how some people is like
but I also think that wrestling feds around the country are gonna have to really start being a bit more careful about who they book and not just go on name value
mhm,
and be like, "Okay, I'm gonna book this person because they're a stand-up guy. I've seen them wrestle. I've seen how they interact with people. Everybody's got nothing but good things to say." Then you start talking about people about Teddy Hart. You heard on there, "Oh, he was a good guy to begin with, and then he ripped me off of this amount of money." And then,
right,
"Oh, he was a great guy, and then I saw how he was treating women." It was always it started off great, and then
right. It was like just ridiculous.
yeah.
But whenever if y'all had the opportunity, go check it out. I think it's a very good story to talk about, and sad because that's like going on, and
Still going on.
right, and it's just sad that you got some people like that that just act like they don't have a life and at least try to
It's all about them at the end of
right
the day. So
exactly. It's just crazy. But go ahead, check it out. It's on Peacock. Um, USA after
didn't I
no,
thought you said it was edited.
I thought it was at first when when he did that thing with the shower scene with the women, but they did the same thing on the
Oh,
network too. So, but they was like cussing and stuff,
right.
so left the f bomb and all that stuff.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah,
Costs more than me.
ain't that the truth? That they no that they were saying a lot of f bombs and stuff like that. That's what I was saying. She said that, but anyways, check it out. It's pretty good. It'd be cool if they do have a follow up.
I think they will. I think it's going to lead to follow-ups.
Yeah, because other people were picked up on it and like started
Yeah.
following.
I tell you who I
up.
would love to see. I would love to see that show that I really like. Is it Cold Case?
Yeah.
With the woman who goes around the different parts and they open cases up trying to look into
Oh,
things.
Cold Justice.
Cold Justice. I would love to see them look into it to see if they can find out things.
That would be interesting. But on to the next thing. I didn't do a Bucks video yesterday because I was going to save it for tonight. Well, as in right now. talking about the game, I did watch the game last night when they showed the replay of it. So they did show a majority of the game. The only thing they did is like skipped out like the 2 minutes in the final 2 minutes in the third quarter. So they skipped that. But besides that, they were showing the game most entirety in its entirety. But I think it was not that long of a game either.
No, it was a pretty quick game.
Right.
I was watching it over a minute.
Yeah. So probably like 2 hours.
It seemed quicker. It
It
just
could.
seemed like a lot
It could have
quicker.
been. It could have been. But when they show the replay, they only
Well, yeah, I know.
only edit like a little bit, which they did with the didn't do the halftime thing, and like I said, 2 minutes through the third quarter they edited it out. But yeah, Giannis was out, Drew was out, and Chris was out due to like limitations of him like playing because of him coming back from an injury. So I think they're just not ready for him to play like back to back
You can't.
games.
It would strain him too much. You got to do it gently.
Right. So the bench squad,
They came through.
they they actually did, which I'm surprised with like the numbers that I'm looking at right now. Like I said, there were a few things that they like I said they missed showing, but could be things that that actually did happen. And what they had like a one, two, three, yeah, 10-minute rotation. Although they had like 11 guys suit up, and as you saw, like with Mercy Matthew, he was there, but he didn't play. So I guess they wanted to rest him too. Like why not? Um, Dornova, he had a good first half. Although he didn't like score much in the second half, only like 2 points in the second half. But Earl was 17 points, one steal, one assist, 4 rebounds, 2 of 4 from three, 7 of 11 from the field. So good percentage. Bobby Portis had to start, because of everybody else sitting out, but 20 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds. Although he had a few more, but I guess he didn't. But near triple double, 1 of 5 from three, 9 of 18 from the field. Brook Lopez, 14 points, 6 blocks, so a season high for him. And I think that's like he did like I think it was like 10 games so far that he had like 6 blocks or something like that. Um, 3 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 of 5 from three, 4 of 11 from the field. So probably not good scoring in the inside. And I think they was probably was like holding him but whatnot. Um, Javon Carter started for for Drew Holiday. 14 points, 2 steals, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 1 to 3 from three, but 4 of 10 from the field. Like I said, bench did stepped up besides the ones that started, besides Brook Lopez and Grayson Allen, but everybody else did something good too. Like AJ Green, 8 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. Was perfect from the 3 point line. Was 2 of 2, but 2 of 3 overall for a field goal. George Hill, same thing, 8 points, 1 steal, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. No 3 point attempts or anything, but 4 of 7 from the field. So decent enough. And Pat Connaughton, getting a little bit of his groove back, like I was mentioning at the last one, like because he was like a little bit struggling, but at least he's trying to build himself a little bit back. But he had 9 points, uh, 1 steal, 5 rebounds, 1 of 4 from three, 3 of 7 from the field. So they had a little bit, decent with the run with them scoring. Pretty good, pretty good. It seems like Charlotte was close on their tail. It was what was it 105-96? That was the score for that. But let's get to the Charlotte Hornets. Jalen McDaniels with 21 points, one block, one steal, two assists, five rebounds.